This episode of the Natural Habitat Podcast is brought to you by Awesome Ty is Running for Mayor on YouTube. Boom. There is a brand new web series that goes with Awesome Ty's brand new podcast, both entitled Awesome Ty is Running for Mayor.
Yup.
So the web series season 1 finale is going to be coming out this Friday on the Natural Habitat Podcast YouTube. We just released one entitled Back to the 90s. That was a collection of home movies of Ty when he was younger. And that's a great episode. Go back and check that out. And season finale's coming up. It's going to be exciting. We made it into City Hall and had a good back and forth with our constituents there. So go check that out. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Rogue Status live in concert. September 29th in Paso Robles, California at Manny's Bar and Grill. You remember that place?
I do.
Well, they got a nice, sweet new sound system. So Rogue Status is putting on a show. I am also going to be doing a set as well as a couple other local artists. So it's a Friday night. Come and check that out. My boy, I started crying. Come look at the show, please. Friday night. So come and check that out. Friday night, September 29th in Paso Robles. Go to roguestatus.org for all the info that you need. Boom. That's it. That's our ads. You ready to start the show?
Start that shit.
Boom. Shit got a little too live during that intro theme, and you might have fell a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Welcome. I was getting into it.
Welcome to the Natural Habitat Podcast. My name is Mikey Booyah.
And I am William Waffles.
And we are broadcasting to you, as always, from California /
and Oregon.
Oregon. That's right. / Oregon.
I like backslashes personally.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, backslashes are nice. Don't get me wrong. But for some reason, I think that / have something to do with dates and contractions, and backslashes are, usually just seen on websites and web addresses.
Interesting.
I don't know. What's the difference between a / and a backslash in context when it comes to the English language?
The English language, because we know it so well.
Let's see. I'm gonna look it up. This is gonna be one of the weirdest things that we Googled right off the bat.
Right?
The difference between a backslash and a / Wow. No way.
What is it? What do we got?
Okay. First it says here, probably the dumbest thing that I've ever fucking read in my life. And that is a good way to remember the difference between a backslash and a / is that a backslash leans backwards while a / leans forward. That's not what I mean, Google.
Are you fucking serious? That's not the correct answer.
Oh my God, what the fuck? That's not what I meant.
Obviously that I thought a backslash leaned forward and a / leaned backwards.
Really? Well,
no.
I'm glad that they, set everything up. Set the record straight for you. Oh my God, this is doing the same thing. It says, imagine that the cursor is a person facing in the direction that he or she is walking. if the person leans backwards, he or she looks like a backslash. If the person, it's like, why are we?
Okay, look up meaning of backslash. Look them up individually.
Okay, so this says that backslash is used for file names in DOS and Windows and escape sequences. Forward slashes are used for file names in Unix, web addresses, and dividing in any programming languages. So it's kind of just giving me... It's giving me like the computing like use for it. Like,
well, I don't think there is another use for a backslash or a forward slash. Those came around when computers came out. They weren't in written technology.
I guess
written language.
I guess you're right, but I mean, when you would write out a sentence, like how I just said California / Oregon, like you would write that out in a sentence, but I guess
with
maybe
a dash.
You wouldn't. Yeah, true.
Not a slash. You just do a little straight little line.
Let's see. Here's / punctuation. Let's see. Now I have to make sense of all this fucking English garbage. Once used to make periods and commas, the slash is now often used to represent exclusive or inexclusive division and fractions or as a date separator. So it really doesn't talk about the difference between a forward and backslash.
Interesting.
I don't know, man. But that's really not the meat and potatoes of what we're here to talk about.
No, not today.
That is... Look, if anybody out there is some sort of, scholar and wants to fucking tell us the difference between a forward slash and a backslash in English language, or if it's just for computing, let us know. But
right?
There's been talk about Jeepers Creepers 3 is on the horizon.
Oh, man.
I want to say this movie is done filming, and they were doing a screening recently, and the screening got shut down because of threat of protesters. Now, you haven't really heard anything about this, right?
No, I haven't heard anything about Jeepers Creepers 3. Well, maybe a couple months ago I saw that they were in production or something along the lines, but it didn't...
Yeah. Well, it
didn't really stand out.
Here's the thing. This is like... this is somewhat common knowledge. I would think some people would know this, but some people don't. I didn't know this until very recently, a few months ago, that the director of Jeepers Creepers 3, as well as the first one, is a convicted child molester. And not only is he a convicted child molester, he molested the kid that was in his first movie.
What the fuck?
His first movie, 1989, called Clown House. His name's Victor Salva. And he was in his late 20s. He made this movie, Clown House, about 3 young brothers who were terrorized by a mental patient. And the youngest brother was 12 years old.
So he was pulling his movie off in real life, huh?
Yeah. And he kept this 12-year-old boy. Not that it matters that it's a boy or a girl, but he kept this 12-year-old boy. But it's not like it was like a 16-year-old girl actress that looked like she was 23, that like, to where you can be like, okay, in his head he's a fucking weirdo, but at least you can justify it somewhat. This is a little tiny kid. And keeps this kid, molests the kid, records the video of it, and got caught, had a bunch of tapes, including the tapes of the kid and a bunch of other kids and a bunch of other stuff, got sentenced 3 years in prison and spent 15 months.
That's fucking ludicrous.
And then he got out and he made Powder. Remember that movie, Powder? And the kid that was in Clown House that got molested by him, protested it and was like, fuck this. Like, why is this guy still making movies? You shouldn't even allow him to be a director or be in the, Screen Actors Guild or whatever it is that he's in.
Right.
And nobody listened to the kid. He made Powder. Powder was a great movie. My parents let me watch it all the time. A child molester's movie. Then Jeepers Creepers came out, 2001. Everybody loved it. And Well, yeah, but it still was a pretty solid movie. Justin Long brought it down a couple notches.
It to me, it was in the heart of, I mean, from like 98 to like 05 was just an overload of shitty horror films.
Yeah, true.
People weren't trying hard. They were taking basic concepts and they were pumping out, halfway decent stories with a lot of gore or shitty effects.
Yeah, true.
So it was very hard to find movies that had a unique telling. Now, yes, Jeepers Creepers did have a slightly unique telling. It was one of the more original stories that was coming out. It wasn't your normal slasher. It took it to a creepier level, but still, it just wasn't, one of the good ones to me.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't go down in history as one of the best horror movies ever. But
no,
it was a big movie at the time. A lot of people knew it. It brought back that old song, Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get them peepers?
Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers. Where did you get them
peepers? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
with the fingers and all.
Yeah, you got to do the jazz fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So he was filming Jeepers Creepers 3. Everybody got all upset and they were like, what the fuck is with this guy still making movies and still making money? And then he puts out a casting call for an 18-year-old woman to play a 13-year-old girl who's been abused by her grandfather. So it's like, you shouldn't even be allowed to put out casting calls like that, bro. What are you doing? What is this?
Oh, she has to be 18 at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least he knows what he's doing now. He's like, look, I learned my lesson. What I want is an 18-year-old legal girl that looks 13, because you could legally have sex with her. I mean, it's weird.
But that's hard to find, and it's gross, but that is what it is, right?
Yeah, but if you're going to find it, it's going to be in Hollywood with a casting call.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it's probably like a height impaired person, maybe.
Uh-huh. Maybe, yeah. If you get like the
with the right proportions.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Politically correct, is if you get one that just is all around small and not with the big parts. So, yeah, I think that could work. And if he wants to do that, then that's fine. It's fine with me. You know what I mean? If it's consensual, if the girl's like, yeah, I'll bang this creepy old guy to get a part in this movie. Whatever, that's fine. It's America. You guys can do what you want. And I see it like...
all I have to say is safe word.
Yeah, that's right. I see it like this kid this little boy that he had sex with and molested.
Yeah.
He's like a cigarette. The little boy is.
Okay.
And this 18-year-old girl that looks like a 13-year-old girl is like a Nicorette patch. Like Nicorette gum or like a nicotine patch. So
okay.
So it's better is what I'm saying. Like at least he's moving away. We should applaud him from doing something about his addiction. But that doesn't mean that every once in a while he's not going to smoke a cigarette. So you got to watch for that too.
Yeah, I just won't watch it. I never watched Jeepers Creepers 2, so.
Yeah, neither did I. So yeah, I guess just don't watch it. That's how you protest it. That's how you do not stand behind child molester and give him money. Is don't watch it.
Yeah.
Or I guess pirating it would be the same thing as not watching it, right?
Well, no, pirate it and then don't watch it.
Yeah, there you go. That's not bad. Not bad.
Now
be
a true rebel. Mm-hmm. Steal his movie, and then don't watch it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. What I would do is I would steal his movie, start his movie, and then turn it off. So that way he could tell somewhere in the analytics that you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what? This guy turned off my movie 7 minutes in. He was not enjoying himself. Protest the Chomo. Yeah. So, have you seen, did you see this? Old Man Ninja Warrior?
No.
Okay, check this out.
Is it makeup? It's got to be makeup. He's not a for real old dude.
I'm not 100% sure. but I do know.
Age 81. All right, yeah, Ninja Warrior ain't gonna lie about this kind of shit, I suppose. He looks old as fuck. Nah.
And he wrote to us to ask
I don't know.
if he could
Nah. Nah.
We had to say yes. I mean, look at the support he's
Nah. That ain't a real old dude. That's not a real old dude, man. Nah.
No.
Nah. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way that's a real old man.
Look at him.
I don't believe that.
It definitely does. It does look very prosthetic.
I don't believe him.
Look at him. He's barely doing it.
No, he's not barely doing it. He's making it look like he's barely doing it.
But he's really just some beast. He's like 23 in old man makeup.
Yeah,
See,
that's straight. That's he yeah,
It's
like
gotta
right up.
be.
See, look at this. Look at this guy. Yeah. 81 my ass. That ain't no fucking old man, dude.
There's his wife.
Yeah, see?
That's
Wife
his
my
mom.
ass. That's his
mom.
mama. Yeah, the dude ain't real.
No.
The dude ain't real.
Yeah, because I
Why?
tried.
Is that what's up? Is you trying to show me? Am I reading something down here, maybe?
No. Says he
Nah.
might be over the hill, but wait till you see him get over some obstacles. And this is from
Nah,
American Ninja Warrior's Facebook page. But yeah, I looked it up and there's no information on this guy at all. The oldest guy to do American Ninja Warrior was like 64 or something like that whenever I type in like oldest Ninja Warrior. And at the very beginning he said, here, look. Let me find what he says in the beginning. Because that one seals the deal. In the beginning.
I don't know, man.
Said,
like,
here,
I'm
look.
pretty good at seeing that kind of shit, and that is
We're
most
going to do something special right now while we wait for our next competitor.
We're going to do something special right now while we wait for our next competitor.
Yeah.
Which means,
exactly.
Which means this guy's bullshit.
Yep.
But the trampoline may spell the end. Come on, grab.
Now, here's the question: Is he gonna take the mask off at the end?
He could break a hip.
No.
This
Nah, for real? They just leave it hanging like that?
really gonna launch it.
Here's the end.
Fuck you, Ninja Warrior. Fuck you, Ninja Warrior.
What's the secret?
That's some bullshit.
Never give up. Never give up. You're never too old to be a ninja.
Never give up. You're never too old to be a ninja. And never ninja.
Masanica. It's like, dude, no.
They tried to pull one over on the world.
Nah, bro. Nah.
So I want to know who this bro really is. That's what I want to know.
It's probably the same fool who like dresses up like an old man and goes and like punks dudes on the ball court. Like,
Johnny Knoxville?
is that right? Ball court?
I think you said balls court the first time, and that was not right.
I don't know. Whatever. Whatever's clever. Right?
I think it's just
I don't-
court. I think it's just on the court.
Oh, on the court. Right?
Yeah.
Well, how do you know what court I'm talking about? Maybe I'm talking about the tennis court.
Cause that's a tennis court. It's all when you say the court, then it's a basketball court, 100%. Everything
What
else.
does the word court mean? We've said it enough now. I want to know what it means.
What's the word court mean? It's like an enclosed place for business. enclosed. Enclosed
Yeah, we
for
do
business.
sports in them.
Oh shit! It says a tribunal, a quadrangular area, either open or covered, marked out for ball games such as tennis or basketball.
Such as tennis or basketball. So there's no other ball games.
No, that's it.
That would be held in a court other than tennis or basketball.
What about squanch or whatever?
What about four ball?
Squanch.
Or four square?
What's four ball square?
Four square?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something you play when you're a kid.
What about dodgeball court?
Now you just play that in a gym.
What about
That's not a court.
What about the people's court?
I don't know. What do? Throw elbows there?
Yep, that's right. You got it. So that's
The
basketball.
people's champ in the people's court?
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing bows?
Yeah, as long as it's an enclosed or covered quadrangular area, It's fair game.
Word.
Fair game. Game on.
Come on.
Game on. I don't know.
I'm curious if kids nowadays still say that in their speech patterns. Game off and game on. And not talking about video games.
Like when they're playing on a court?
Yeah, or like in a street.
And they go,
mainly.
Oh yeah, like with cars. There's still cars.
Yeah, but do kids play in the street?
No.
Do they play like basketball or?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Or like soccer or hockey or basketball or?
Basketball again, huh? I haven't seen a basketball hoop with a net on it for years.
Nah.
Yeah, it's just old decrepit hoops that are all bent like carnival games.
Right?
Uh-huh.
It's because full-size adults be like slam dunking on them.
Yeah, we're the only ones that play on them anymore. Wait, let's talk about how fun it is to go to an elementary school and play basketball on the hoops that are like forehead level.
Bro,
and just dunking on
Michael
them.
Jordan at that point.
Dude, that's a lot of fun.
Jumping from the 3-point line, just slamming hard.
Yep, and sometimes they have the small hoops because they have the small basketballs for the kids.
Yep.
So everything's small. The basketball, hoop,
one-handed with no problem.
Yep. So you just feel like a giant.
That's
That's where it's at. It's like just get extra high and go to a school. Like that's what I'm trying to tell people to do. Get extra high and go to an elementary school, guys, and fucking play basketball on the day off on a weekend. No, maybe just don't go there.
Yeah, don't go there.
Don't go there.
I mean, we've done that, but
you can't do that anymore.
You can't do what? Yeah, at different times.
We were filming.
You know?
We were filming the voter registration episode of the Awesome Tie YouTube series.
Yeah, I saw it.
And he had his like kid's costume and he was going to infiltrate the high school to try to sign up voters, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about like how horrible of an idea it was and how we were lurking around the high school and how he was dressed like a kid. And we like walked somewhere. We were like walking up to the school down like Niblick towards the school. He's just dressed like a kid with his backpack. And well, I'm like walking next to him and he's like, this is probably the worst way to approach a school zone. Like 100%. And I was like, yeah. But we found out the rule is don't talk to the kids. You obviously can't talk to the kids. As long as you don't approach the kids and try to make the kids part of the video or the joke, everything's good. Just ignore the kids and just keep walking and then everything's fine. Because the kids will be like, oh, what are you doing? And if you start talking to the kids, then you're a fucking 30-year-old dude outside of a high school talking to a kid dressed like a kid. You know what I mean? So I was like, don't talk to any kids. And he was like, yeah, totally. And then we found out that's the rule. As long as you don't talk to kids, you're not creepy.
Word. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, you're like, I'm here to shoot video, okay? Not of kids. That sounds creepy.
Oh, fuck, man.
All right. Let's talk about fire ants.
All right, what about fire ants? They're incredible.
This brown goopy material
So,
looks like
hold on,
mud,
hold on,
but it's
hold on.
alive.
Stop this. Stop this bullshit. Stop this bullshit right now. Oh my god. I know more about fire ants than this fucking video does, bro.
Okay, lay it on us.
All right. So fire ants, when it comes to now I'm real high, so it's gonna be very convoluted.
All right, power through.
The point
power
will be
through.
made.
Okay, you got this.
Okay. So, as a colony, fire ants are one of the most structurally innovative and unique groups in the entire world, actually.
Hell yeah.
They can make themselves they can actually design and like build structures within themselves to help them reach up higher places. Now floods specifically, you've been hearing about it in Texas, I'm sure. There's been videos of it recently online. I know of this personally from the floods from Mississippi. I've seen this firsthand. And you'll see, it'll be like 4 or 5 feet wide in diameter, just this huge disc of ants, like in a big old blob floating down the fucking river. And it's because everything's flooded out. And these ants, what they do is they'll get so tight on themselves and do this interlocking system that by the time they've gotten 2 or 3 inches out from themselves, there's actually a pocket of air from the legs of all their contact. And they'll surfacely like walk around each other and in through the air and walk back out. And it's just a continuous moving structure. Like these ants are just fucking incredible. And we've been doing studies on them on how they can benefit us by the way that they work together. So, yeah.
Yeah, they took this...
Boom.
Yep, there you go. They took this little fucking pile of ants that were all locked together, and like you said, they interlocked their arms. And what it is it's from all the flooding that's happened like just over the years. It floods and their like nests or whatever, they're like fucking little tunnels in the ground get all filled up. They all get flooded out, and then the ones that hold on to the queen have a better chance of reproducing. So they all interlock arms, and it's so tight that it forms like a material. And there's like all these scientists that are studying the ants and trying to see if they can form, because it makes this like super strong, and like you said, it like holds air, and it's like flexible and resilient. You can move it like a sponge.
Yeah.
But like it also absorbs.
But it's like solid.
Yeah. It also absorbs. So like it'll absorb a bunch of pressure. And they're just doing a bunch of studies on it to try to see like what. Look at that shit. That's crazy. To try to see what kind of like
measuring their tensile strength.
Yeah, and see what kind of use we could get out of them, because we're monsters. You know what I mean? We're just gonna take them and convince them that they're gonna drown, get them to lock together, and then use them as shields and shit.
No, what I think we're trying to do is decipher how their genetics and they're physically built to do those kind of things. What we're trying to do is figure out how to do that for most likely robotics.
Yeah.
Because if we can do the same thing that they can do, if we can take 1 million literal ant-sized
little
fucking robots,
nanobots,
I could fucking, like a cup. Think of like a dry measurement of a cup, okay? That amount, locked together would turn into something, roughly 1.5 foot in diameter, if it was fairly flat. Think of what you could do with that. Casts, weapons, survival equipment.
Yeah. It can
satellites.
It can mold around anything.
Yeah.
Like how they could take it and squeeze it and bend it. Like it can mold around it, and then you could have a final like locking position.
Yep.
So like, just fucking wave some Bluetooth thing over it and they all lock into place, and then wave the Bluetooth thing over it again and they all unlock.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy.
And all you would have to do is have a certain, a certain code, I'll use the word genetic, a certain genetic code for these robots to form what you wanted. So, if you had, say, a 5-gallon bucket of these robots, you would have a list, yay long, say, of the things that specific amount could create. Yeah. Which is damn near probably an endless amount of things, like let's look at ladders, shelters, shit.
And it would be like
protection.
Yeah.
Like
it would be like
something
3D.
That amount, you could even build it up even thicker.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like 3D printing, only the material you're using you can, take apart and rebuild multiple times.
Yeah.
And just keep going over and over again. And then you just
in fairly quick succession.
Send out a wireless signal, and they do that thing that we've seen in movies where all the things crawl up and go and all crawl up into a pile and turn into a person or whatever,
Precisely.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. And it's crazy that like when we were kids, none of this shit was around. Like,
no, like
I read this thing about how about how our generation is the most nostalgic because of the technology boom that happened when we were kids, and how we grew up, you know, playing outside, riding bikes, getting dirty, throwing fucking sticks into rivers. Like, that was fun when we were kids, you know what I mean? And then, like, we had so much TV, and we had the start of multiple channels, of getting all these different shows and programming. So we were raised by the television.
Yeah.
And then technology has boomed so much just in the past 10 years that we're seeing it all, and everything is just so instant crazy that we like want to go back to this nostalgic time.
So this is what's crazy to me. I have a cousin who is 9 years older than I am.
Uh-huh.
And my brother is 9 years younger than I am.
Crazy.
And we all grew up pretty close together. Now, the thing being is, he is literally the end of Generation X.
Yeah.
Okay? My little brother is most definitely a millennial.
Yeah.
People tell me I'm a millennial because of my age.
You are?
I am, but
Yep.
I don't feel that I am.
No.
I most definitely feel that I am Generation X. But then again, like you were saying, we grew up when, you know, like my cousin, he grew up with no internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He got internet in his late years of high school.
Yeah, we had AOL when we were, you know, we had
In junior high.
AOL free discs in early junior high, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, and then you look at my brother, who's got, you know, like 3 or 4 different computer classes he could have taken in junior high, not even in high school.
Yeah. He had the internet on his phone when he was in junior high, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He had a smartphone in fucking junior high.
Yeah, my nieces have had fucking smartphones and tablets their whole lives.
You know, and it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind, dude. It's like my boys, they've got their tablets and their shows and shit, but it's like, you got a backyard, you got a play structure, go play. Like, you got sticks, you got a yard, like a tree. Like, dude, you guys have no idea how much fun I would have had.
Yeah, and you have no idea how old we sound when we say shit like that. You sound so old to them. They're just like, you're 100 years old, dude. Like, what are you saying? Play with sticks? Play with sticks? I have an app on my thing where I could throw a stick and, you know, poke a dead body down a river.
Now, see, because my little brother, his kids, he won't say the same thing about that.
Yeah.
He won't be like, why aren't you kids out, like, you know, pretending sticks or things, and, you know, like,
he'll be like, hey, did you see this new game? Like,
yeah, you know, and I'm not hating on anything. It's just
that's the way it is.
That's what has changed and happened over the last 30 years.
And it only makes sense. I mean, people want to be stimulated, especially children, when their minds are really active. And
oh my God, kids are smarter than we were.
Yeah. And that's
like little kids nowadays are fucking way intelligent. Like, I was an idiot kid.
Yeah, that's because every day we would do the same thing, where we would ride bikes to the same place and we would go hang out with the same people and do the same stupid shit. And we were being stimulated, but it was in a different way. And it was kind of the same, you know, small town bullshit all the time. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I think that it did make us the way we are. And it was good that we got to grow up that way. But if you look at it outside of context and just compare the way that we spent most days to all of the different variety and vastness of things that they have at their fingertips now, it's like...
They may be more intelligent, but they're not as in touch.
Yeah, true. Because...
like, I mean...
when you grow up around it, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, I saw a dead body before I saw one on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, I saw gruesome, nasty shit in real life before I saw it on the internet. So when I saw it on the internet, I was like, yeah, reminds me of gross shit. I don't want to look at that. Kids nowadays, like, see the gross shit in real life, and they're all like, meh, whatever, I've seen enough of it online, not a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
What? Are you all serial killers? Everyone is?
Right? Like, come on.
It's crazy, man. Oh, no. But, yeah, it's, I had another point, and I lost it because I'm high. That's why I get high. That's why I like to reminisce about the olden days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And times were easier.
Oh, you were talking about
What was
how we grew the generation and how you read an article online.
Yeah. Read an article that we were the most nostalgic.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know. Technically, we are millennials by the year, and I think the older I get, the more I agree with that. Because when I was younger, I was like, "Fuck that, fuck millennials. I'm definitely Generation X. I'm old school." And then now that I'm 30, I'm like, "Oh, I'm a millennial. Yeah, totally. I'm still young. Like, totally, man.
No.
Still got plenty of time. I'm still a useful demographic for another 4 years." It's 18 to 34, and then once you get 35 and up, nobody cares about your opinion.
Really?
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more
4
years.
more years.
4 more years. Good stuff.
Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's good stuff.
Oh hell yeah! What was the last one?
The Rick's and Relaxation.
Oh yeah, that's right. The darkness that got pulled out of him. The detoxification.
Scary Morty.
Yeah.
I think when you pull the toxins out of both Rick and Morty, that specific Rick and Morty, for whatever time period or timeline that is out there, Rick was the most Morty he would have ever been.
That's what I was thinking. And Morty was the most Rick.
He will have ever been.
They were each other. They were definitely each other. I noticed that. Throughout the episode, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, he's his grandpa. He's definitely his grandpa.
Now, they both were pleasant because you have to remember everything negative was taken out of them.
Yeah.
According to what they thought was negative. But regardless, the way Morty acted, even though they were both happy and like go lucky about the whole ordeal, Morty was just so brutal and blunt about everything.
Yep, that's right. And that was because that was one of the things that he didn't like about himself. One of the things that he thought was something that was toxic in him was that he never like expressed himself. So he just ultra expressed himself.
Boom. Season 3's a banger, man.
Yep. And then there's no new episode this week.
What?
Yeah, they're taking a week off for whatever reason.
I don't have commercials or like information. I just get it downloaded onto my Xbox. So.
I saw a clip on YouTube that said new Rick and Morty in 2 weeks, and it came out the day after that last episode dropped. Okay. And it's Rick and Morty go to Atlantis.
No.
And all they did was it showed them getting their scuba gear on, and Rick's like, "You ready, buddy? We're going to the lost city of Atlantis." And he's like, "Oh boy." And then they like go through the portal, and then it's all like new Rick and Morty in 2 weeks. And then it shows them coming back out of the portal into the garage, and they're just soaking wet, and they're both like just screaming like "woo!" like they just had the best time ever in Atlantis.
As opposed to the last episode we had.
Yeah, where it was very dark and they cried in the spaceship.
They get back in the car and fucking Morty just like breaks down. He's just like just fucking can't stop.
Rick was like, I was not in control of that situation at all. And he usually is. He usually is totally in control.
That Rick and Morty must not be the C-136 Rick and Morty we're used to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I don't think what was it, the drool? I didn't see drool on him.
Yeah.
When he was sitting there freaking out, he didn't have the drool, so it wasn't our Rick who's drinking the juice.
That's right. See?
Yeah, I'm deep in, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Deep in.
I've been paying attention to that too because I realized like that halfway through second season, we were like, here's the show, like everything's going great, and then all of a sudden we just switched universes, and now it's fucking over here, and now C-137 Rick and Morty are in some new universe that we don't have the number for. So all of this other shit is happening. So I think that season 3 is definitely going to tie into both of the universes. They already just recently went back, right?
Yeah, they did. God, was that in season 3 or was that the end of season 2?
I want to say that was season 3, but
okay, yeah, so do I.
Yeah. And
That was the Szechuan, right?
the Szechuan sauce?
Yeah, the Szechuan sauce.
The Szechuan.
That was the side story to the Szechuan sauce.
Yeah, it was, right? They went back
Episode.
there and he was like, this smells like Rick. And fucking broke the portal gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're right immediately in the first episode going back to it. So
Yeah.
something to pay attention to.
Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm. Have I told you about DJ Dadmouth?
No.
Do you know who Tom Segura is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, I'm being Tom Segura.
You're being Tom Segura? Are you thinking of Bert Kreischer?
No, they both are naked all the time.
They both are naked all the time. No, not really Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Okay, but
He takes his shirt off all the time. He's fat.
All right, yeah, they're both fat. Okay, let's get in on the Tom is fat, Bert is fat. Who do you think's fatter?
Definitely Tom.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Bert's fatter. Bert put all the weight back on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
I'm gonna say even still.
well, if we're talking about this, let's talk about Ari.
What? How Ari didn't want to pay for it?
Yeah.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't get into that. We don't know him. We don't know the backstory. But I wouldn't want to pay for it either. I do know that what was I saying? Oh yeah, Tom Segura.
Yes.
He one of the painful things about being a comedian or entertainer is doing morning radio and morning news spots in the city that you're going to be performing in that night. And it used to be a big thing. Everybody hated doing it. And now in the world of podcasting, you can just get your podcast to blow up. Tom Segura's podcast blown up because he's on Joe Rogan all the time. And, pick all of his biggest cities with the most listeners, like according to his stats, and then just, do a tour around those cities and sell out based on the podcast. Just be like, hey, podcast, I'm going to be here. And then you just sell out shows if you have a podcast. All your listeners come. Then it's people that really want to see you, people that really like you and respect you and all that shit. Know what they're coming to see.
Right.
So morning radio and morning news does not matter anymore whatsoever. And Tom Segura saw the opportunity, since he was still getting offers to do these things, that he would have some fun with it. So what he did was he created this character.
Oh God.
Called DJ Dadmouth, and he's a DJ. And here, look, I'll play some of it.
Cincinnati, where do you kind of get your inspiration? I guess from your clothes. What's your clothes?
From the streets mostly. I travel a lot. I'm a SoCal guy now. I just picked it up from, fighting people, beefing. I got this, I don't know.
Beef. Well, I heard you had some beef with Crazy Lokes.
Okay, so this is his character that he does. And he's a DJ, and he said that I'm gonna be DJing tonight after the stand-up thing. I'm gonna do a secret pop-up show, and then she's like, what? And he's like, she puts up a picture of Tom Segura, of just him regularly.
Yeah.
And it's a flyer for the show, and he's like, I don't even know who that guy is. That's like a character that I do, but this is the real me. And fucking he just he says that the comedy is just he's like, that's just a hobby. It's not even about that. I'm here to promote my pop-up show where I'm going to be DJing. And then he says, go to my Twitter and I'm going to post the link or post the location. And he never does it. He just gets a bunch of followers out of it. But DJ Dadmouth is killing it. And then he started this beef with this dude Crazy Lokes from San Jose.
Okay.
And Crazy Lokes, all right, now I got to show you Crazy Lokes. Crazy Lokes.
Please tell me it's Tom Segura.
No.
Disappointed.
Tom Segura is DJ Dadmouth. You think they're both? You think it was both Tom Segura?
It could have been from from different areas?
It could have been.
He's just doing different spots, different characters, talking shit on himself.
It could have been. Here, look. Here's Crazy Lokes. You ready?
Yeah.
What's up, homies? It's Crazy Lokes right here, homie. Know what I'm saying? For reals, though. God is good, homie. Shoot. Crazy Lokes gotta keep things pushing, homie. You know what I'm saying? For reals, though. From now until the end of time, homie. Know what I'm saying? For reals, though, homie. Shout goes out to everybody doing their thing and stuff like that.
What is this?
You know, straight up.
Jump
though.
off in the video.
Shoot.
I want to see how long this shit goes on for.
What?
No, this isn't really him. What is this?
This is Crazy Lokes, man.
The person I'm looking at is not the person I'm hearing.
Let me give y'all a little bit of shadow boxing.
Are you seeing the right guy in Walmart?
Yes, that's
Crazy
who I'm
Lokes.
seeing in
You know what I'm
Walmart.
Look at his
saying?
skills.
For reals, though.
What the shit, dude?
I love his head bobs, the way that his head moves when he punches.
Oh my god.
He's gone. Where'd he go? This dude has got skills. So Crazy Lokes posted this video, right? And it's like,
Okay.
I'm up in Walmart getting down. And then Tom Segura called him out on his podcast and was like, look at this video of this dude, Crazy Lokes. And then he was like, I think that I'm like way better than him, DJ Dadmouth. And I think that we should fight. Like, we should fight in the ring with gloves on for charity. And like,
Holy shit.
like promote it, right? So Crazy Lokes like accepts his challenge and like makes all these videos. He has this goofy ass like promoter, and he keeps saying like, Crazy Lokes always says and stuff like that. Like that's his tag after every line, after every sentence he says and stuff like that. And it's funny as fuck. And nobody really
Okay.
knows if that's really him or if it's a character or what's happening, right? So this dude that listens to Tom Segura's show wrote in and said that he works with mentally handicapped people and that Crazy Lokes is most definitely on the autism spectrum, most likely towards the far end because of the way his eyes are, his speech patterns, he like shuffles his feet. And then Tom Segura's like, I can't fight him because he like could be retarded. So we can't fight now. And Crazy Lokes is like, I definitely am not retarded, and like put out some new video. So this has been an ongoing thing and it kind of like fizzled out, but hopefully there's going to be a fight soon. And DJ Dadmouth is one of my favorite characters ever. He gives no fucks.
I'll have to check him out.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's at. So before we get out of here, one more topic I wanted to bring up.
Okay. It was slightly too big.
Took too big of a derb.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. Do you listen to Kendrick Lamar at all?
No.
Kendrick Lamar's pretty dope.
Should I?
His new album is really good. And I found out some crazy shit.
Okay.
Okay, here. I have this other thing that I want to talk about, but I'll tell you about Kendrick Lamar real quick. I'll try to sell you on him. So, he made these songs, blah, 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 got huge. About like... You're okay. You got it. Just breathe. Arms up. Put your hands up. You got it. You got this. Breathe. I'm gonna smoke while you cough. So about
Sorry.
It's okay. So about 10 years ago, there was a Strictly Strange tour or something like that happened in San Luis, and Tech Nine performed. You may or may not have been there, but I remember
I was there.
one of the openers was J-Rock. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, J-Rock's hype man at that show, just little old J-Rock's hype man, is now one of the biggest rappers in the world, Kendrick Lamar. And we saw him at that show, which was dope. And nobody knew who he was. And he didn't even have like a name then. But he made a couple albums. They got better and better, in my opinion. Everybody likes him. They're like, he is like a popular mainstream rapper, but he also does make real hip hop. So it's like the mix of both worlds, you know what I mean? So some of his earlier stuff is like more clubby, and I don't really listen to it. But his new album, Damn, is really good. And it's all stories like from his life and shit. And recently, like a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, could have been a couple now, Kendrick was doing a show in LA, and like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, The Game, like somebody else, all came out on stage and told Kendrick that he was like the one that was putting it on for the West Coast, and that he was the new sound of California. And they like Snoop literally said, like, we're passing you the torch, so you better run with it. And he was like, you, like the godfathers of West Coast hip hop gave him the torch and were like, you are now West Coast hip hop. And his new album is really good. So it tells this story of someone that, you know, is like, grew up in Compton, product of the streets, around all of this evil, and, you know, finds his way out of it and pulls his friends out, and then now lives this like righteous life, right? And the end is all like kind of like gaudy, a little religious and stuff. And I found out there's like this rumor, for anybody that's listening to Damn, there's a rumor that there was supposed to be a second album coming out. Like, because he dropped it on Good Friday, and there's a lot of religious references in there. So people thought that he like depicts himself as Jesus in a lot of it, and in some of the music videos, it's very sacrilegious, religious.
Okay.
And there was a lot of talk of him dropping another album on Easter Sunday, 3 days later, and it never happened. And then there was all this rumor that it was supposed to be like this different artwork, and then he changed his Spotify artwork to that artwork. So everybody's like, oh, where's the new album? What's going to happen? And he just recently said in an interview that there is a second album, and the second album is Damn in reverse. So if you make a playlist with all the tracks in reverse, starting with the last song and ending with the first song, all the skits in between songs lead into different songs, so the context changes of the story. And it tells a totally different story of someone that's righteous and falls victim to the ways of the world, is preaching to others that they need to be holy while he's sinning, and then at the end gets swallowed up by like the streets. And by the end of the album, he's just, you know, like as hardcore as they come. But at the beginning, he was, you know, peaceful and righteous. And it's just a trip. It's a trip how, like, I mean, that's what I get from it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's multiple interpretations, but I thought that it was like a really crazy idea, very artistic of him to do it like that. So I respect him as an artist. So you should check it out. You should check out Damn.
Word. I will. Sounds like a good one.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about legal mushrooms?
Well, they're legal up here, so.
Are they?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
What do you mean? They are? How long have they been legal?
A while, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
When can you could just like go pick them, or can you buy them, or what?
You can go pick them. You can't buy them.
Yeah. But it's no longer like.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking about doing it here, California.
I know. I think that's pretty cool.
Legalizing the mushrooms.
Yup.
That way I don't have to worry about sneaking around my mushrooms. I mean, that way I can try mushrooms.
Right.
That's what I meant to say. All right, man. Well, that's another one. Another one.
All right.
Done. You got anything to add? Say to the people?
Let me think. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let me think. Let me ponder.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pontificate.
Do it.
I almost pooped a little. Maybe I shouldn't think that hard. Nah, keep it fresh and don't let it rot.
That's right. That's right. Peace.
Peace.
Natural Habitat Recordings.